everybody. Leo Jongsma here from Naturologic. Today I'm here with Legs, or Casto Sexy Legs. She's one of the mares here. I have the fortune of training here at Oak Ranch Training Horses. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the hierarchy of different exercises that you can do with your horse. And people that I train with here know this, that I'm pretty particular about when you're ready to do certain next level steps in your riding, in your training, because I think that when you skip certain steps, and this is not new, but when you skip steps in the basics and you go to more difficult exercises, you're gonna get in trouble later because you miss certain items. Let me give an example in that. Most exercises that you do, say for instance a turnaround or a spin, there's several exercises that went before you're actually going to ask the horse to turn around.
As you can see here, there is a hierarchy in which you do different exercises of different levels. You can't move up the pyramid until you and the horse have mastered the different stages.
They can start on the ground. For instance, when I train a young horse at first, I want to be able to push in their neck, cluck, and they got to move their front feet like so. Same way when I pull, they got to move that shoulder. So she kind of just stepped over with her front feet. So that's the start of shoulder control on the ground. Now when you get on, once they have that, and there's a video on how I do my groundwork at first, but into more detail. But this already right here, this on the ground, is something that you really have to practice to get it right. Now the next step would be, if you're going to ride, is that you're going to practice a square. Now there's a video on the square as well. So let me show you that. If you're practicing the square, you're basically asking the horse to make a square turn from your outside rein and move their shoulders around like so. So some people already know that this looks a lot easier than it is to get. Outside rein, she moves her shoulders. So that's the second exercise that is committed to controlling the shoulders of the horse. Just a repetition. The square is outside rein, inside rein, outside leg, and she'll steer. Now, another exercise that goes in front of this is that I got to be able to get control of the horse's head. So I got to be able to bend them around on my inside rein so that they get soft. Because if you just move their shoulders when you go turn, they're going to stiffen up in their face, stiffen up in the bit, bridle, and you're not going to have a lot of control when you go turn. So you got to be able to get them soft on your hands, which also, this bending is something I start with on the ground. And then I'll do it when I'm on the horse, like so. So that's the third exercise that you do before you even think about turning around. Now then, when you've done all those things, even with a young horse that's not been trained very well, if you apply the cues from doing the square, you're going to get a turnaround, like so. So it's outside rein, outside leg. Now she's been practicing, she can really turn around. But then, it's outside rein, and she goes and turns around. So, this here was nothing fancy or really fast, but the basic idea is that she moves her shoulders and steps over with her front feet. So there's a certain hierarchy in the way that I've taught this horse to go and turn around. So that first it's moving their front feet on the floor, on the ground, then it's bending their head on the ground, then it's getting on the horse, then it's square, moving their shoulders when you're riding from your outside rein, moving their front feet, and it's bending around when you're on the horse, and then you've done all those basic exercises, then you can think about turning around. Now this can be really early in the horse's riding career, but you have to do those exercises first. Now there's a lot of different things that you can do with horses. For example, something more complex like lead changes or sliding stops or more advanced circling and higher speeds. They're all built up from different little exercises. And then when you go do the actual maneuver like a lead change, you've got all the buttons, all the cues installed to go do the lead change. So it's really important that if a horse doesn't understand something, it may be that you've skipped one or two or maybe more of the exercises that would before the maneuver. Say, if she didn't want to turn around here now, and she would pull on my hand, I would go back to bending her around. Say maybe if I go and turn around, she doesn't want to move her shoulders, I'll go back to the square. So every time, remember this is what you can take away from this is really important. If you get in trouble with your horse somewhere, try to go back to the exercise that was in front of it instead of trying to make the horse do the thing you want it to do, like for say turning around. So don't want to turn around, go back to the exercise that was before it, the square or bending. If you redo that, chances are your turnaround or whatever you were trying to do is going to be a lot better.
Here you get an idea of how different exercises connect and relate to each other. Of course, these are just a couple of examples. You build up your training from a couple of basic principles and they branch out to more complicated maneuvers.
So that's a little something about hierarchy for exercises. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.